You've probably heard me talking about this self-sufficient living skills bundle that's been going on. And I have been spending the last week flipping through so many of the incredible resources within this bundle. Now, I will say there's a lot. There's over 118 different ebooks and courses and lessons sharing incredible wisdom and knowledge with you so you can live off the land and you don't have to rely on this corrupt and broken system for everything for your family. Anyways, I wanted to share some of my favorite things. One, first off, is off-grid homeopathy. This course is loaded with so much incredible knowledge, talking about homeopathy for first aid, for colds and flu, how to make your own homeopathic remedies. Like, as an herbalist who loves to teach that stuff, that's pretty exciting to hear it in the homeopathy realm. There's also some incredible fermentation guides, so many other amazing herbal recipes and food recipes, and how to make your own sourdough bread, how to do your own organic gardening and canning of all of your foods. Really, there is so much. And yes, I know. I've talked about it a ton, but this entire bundle is only $50 right now until Sunday, March 24th. I'm sharing my herbal first aid skills, which is a course that's $47 on its own. I'm sharing recipes that I used when I got my products into REI for herbal first aid kits and so much more. You'll have to check it out. I'm serious. Like, you can absolutely change your life with this bundle. So there is a link in the show notes for you, and I hope you check it out. I hope you take advantage. Don't worry, you don't have to go through everything right away. You can access everything for up to a year. Once you're in the course or have the download, it's yours for life. It is a steal of a deal. Okay, self-sufficient living skills bundle in the links for you. Hey there, Herbalist Path friends. It's Mel here, and I am so happy to have you listening in as I am about to get down and get funky on how stress impacts your immune system. It's true. There have been multiple studies that show chronic stress can have a very, very negative effect on your immune system. And we're just going to chat about that for a little bit as we're coming out of a super stressful election time, a super stressful year, and we're heading into, for me, what is the most stressful time of the year. It's time to stay well. Yeah. Enjoy the episode, my friends. Take care. I almost forgot to mention, if you love learning all about herbs and how to keep yourself well throughout the holiday season and the winter and far beyond that, I'm doing a free live workshop called Keeping Cold and Flu at Bay the Natural Way. And I'm going to share with you some of my favorite tips and tricks that I use in my home to keep my kiddo and my partner and myself well all throughout the cold, wet winter season. It's free, it's fun, and I hope that you join me. I'll see y'all soon. Bye.
Welcome to the Herbalist's Path, where we're on a mission to inspire a movement where there's an herbalist in every home. Again, with your host, clinical herbalist, Melissa Mutterspaugh.
Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Herbalist Path. I'm so happy to have you here, and we've got a pretty important topic to talk about today. Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of the Herbalist Path. I am absolutely honored that you have decided to tune in, and why the fuck is my phone not recording properly? Hey there, my Herbalist Path friends. Welcome back to another episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's an absolute honor to have you here. And I'm really looking forward to having a chat about what we're going to talk about today. And I just wanted to touch base on the immune system and stress, and how stress happens to adversely affect our immune system. So, in the grand scheme of things, it's absolutely no big secret that chronic stress will weaken the immune system. And as we head into cold and flu season, we're coming to the end of a year that's been outrageously insane and so stressful for most people in this world. And we're also heading into the most stressful, the most wonderful time of the year. So I figured it would be mighty timely to talk about how stress and the immune system are so completely related. And earlier this week, it really came to my mind because one of the women who works here at our shop, she helps make a lot of the teas and the products. She's absolutely brilliant. She's young. I want to say she's like 29. She's super healthy, really active. She goes to the gym on a regular basis. She uses a lot of herbs from our shop. And she's just great. And she typically comes into work with this fantastic attitude. But right now, she's also in her senior year of college, getting her degree in psychology, and she's going through her midterms. And she took a crazy heavy course load just so she could get her degree finished by June. And so she's just working really, really hard in school, and with the stress and the pressure of midterms, it was really starting to take a toll. And it showed when she came into work the other day. Like, she walked in, and you could instantly see that her normally bright and shining face just wasn't so bright and shining. And she had really been expressing how that big course load was so stressful for her. And then she also said that she was so stressed, she just wasn't feeling good. And she could feel that her body was getting sick and her gut was hurting. And all I could think as she was saying this, other than like, poor girl, I'm so sorry you're going through this, here's this herb, was like about the direct correlation between stress and the immune system, right? And how right now is such a tough time of year, and the whole 2020 has been a tough year. And, it's just crazy how much they are directly related. And there's a lot of research that proves it. Like in the 80s, there was a psychologist and an immunologist who came together to do some research, and they decided to study some medical students. And they found that the students' immunity went down every year under the simple stress of just their 3-day exam period. Case in point, Kaylee, the woman who works for me. Well, the test takers had fewer of their NK or natural killer cells that help to fight tumors and viral infections. And they almost completely stopped producing their immunity-boosting gamma interferon and infection-fighting T cells. And they had very, very weak responses from their T cells. So this was just kind of like the beginning of studying and getting these research topics opened up, and then the floodgates just burst open. And now there's a newer type of study. I mean, it's not totally new now, but it's been going on. It's psychoneuroimmunology. So the psyche, dealing with your emotions, the neurological system, which deals with your brain and the nerves, and immunology, obviously, is the study of the immune system. And the scientists are finally beginning to realize what an important role that our brain has on the treatment of disease and even the manifestation of disease within our bodies. There was a series of studies done from the University of Kentucky and the University of British Columbia in the early 2000s, where they did over 300 studies on stress and health. And what they discovered was that stress of any kind of significant duration, from a few days to like just a few months or years, as it happens for many of us that, deal with real life, all aspects of immune function went downhill. So it really goes to show that long-term and chronic stress can just really ravage our immune system and its inability to function. It also showed that older people who are already sick were more prone to stress-related immune challenges. And they showed that mild depression can suppress an older person's immune system, and that those that suffered from chronic mild depression had weaker T cell responses. And those T cells are absolutely imperative in our immune system's ability to fight off viruses and bacteria. And I bring this up right now, particularly for the elderly and what's going on in our world in the midst of this pandemic and so many people being on lockdown. And we head into the holidays and people aren't able to spend that precious time with their family members and those that they love so much. I mean, grandmas and grandpas, a lot of them aren't going to get to play with their grandbabies over Christmas because of this. And that loneliness can definitely cause depression. And I'm really concerned about the health and well-being of so many people in our country throughout this winter as the season. Hey, I wanted to take a quick pause to show some love and gratitude to our sponsors of the Herbalist Path podcast, who make this show possible for me and possible for you too. So here it goes. Medicinal mushrooms are all the rage these days, if you didn't know already. And with great reason, because they are powerful medicine that can improve your health and your life in so many different ways when they're well made. Yeah, it's true. There's a lot of stuff on the market that isn't going to be so effective. And that's why you need to find a brand that you can actually trust. For me, that brand is Whole Sun Wellness. And this is the creation of a brilliant woman and fellow mama, Jamie Bonfiglio. She's an international mushroom educator that has been working in the medicinal mushroom industry for years. And this is when she saw firsthand how many other companies take shortcuts when it comes to their products. And Jamie wasn't having it. She set out to build her company the right way. Whole Sun Wellness is here to raise the industry standards so those crap mushrooms on the market aren't getting into your body or your family's body. Whole Sun Wellness is the first company to test and report nutritional facts for all of their extracts. They go beyond industry standards every step of the way, from sourcing to extraction and final testing. And as the owners of the largest medicinal mushroom farm in the United States, Whole Sun Wellness is taking control of their supply chain for the highest quality and absolute full transparency. They're even the first company to include pure mycelium extract in every single product. So when you're thinking of getting medicinal mushrooms for you and your family, Whole Sun Wellness is exactly the ones you want. Also, be sure to check out their new Mycolites. These are the world's first dissolvable electrolyte tablets. They're featuring functional mushroom extracts that'll give you more energy, more stamina, and recovery as well. And who couldn't use all of that? The other thing is, they are these adorable little mushroom-shaped tablets, and they come in like a little Altoids box, but way cooler than Altoids because they're Mycolites. Anyways, head to wholesunwellness.com to grab yourself some Mycolites and all of the other functional medicinal mushrooms that you and your family need. And of course, you can grab that link right here in the show notes now. Season is darker and we're still dealing with this pandemic and more restrictions are going into place because people are not following the recommendations for this pandemic, even the ones as simple as social distancing and wearing a little mask on your face. Sure, people can do it all day for a Halloween costume party, but not if it means keeping people from getting a potentially deadly virus. That's sad. And the fact that people aren't able to hug each other. We know that hugging and touching and laughing and these things are all so important to releasing endorphins and giving you that jolt of positivity and goodness and sunshine in life. And I'm not I'm not saying all of this to make you cry. I just really want to discuss this and talk about ways in which we can care for ourselves and in turn take better care of each other. And yeah, this podcast is totally about herbs, and I'm going to talk about the herbs. But first, I wanted to talk about some lifestyle choices that we can all make to help deal with this stress of this crazy 2020, and also to help boost our overall immune function and well-being. Because if you're not willing to make some lifestyle shifts, anything I tell you about these herbs is basically worthless. The herbs aren't going to work with you if you're not going to work with them. Does that make any sense? I mean, they're definitely going to have a much harder job if you're not willing to do a few things to take care of you also. So, as far as lifestyle things go, there's quite a few things that we can do. Yoga, the practice of yoga and that breath with your movement is a really wonderful way to help you manage stress. Maybe you don't want to do the yoga, even if you could just do some simple breathing exercises where you take the time to mindfully breathe in through your nose. And let it out through your mouth. And do that 3 to 5 times in the middle of your day if you've come into something stressful, if your kid is bothering you, if you're at work and you can't stand what's going on. Take those moments. Simple 5, 10, 15 seconds of your time to really truly help your body release some serious stress. What about taking time for yourself? Yes, you. When was the last time you spent time with you? Just sitting. Maybe it's reading a book. Maybe you're fortunate that you get to have a lovely, luxurious, candlelit bath, but self-care isn't always that pretty and glamorous, people. Maybe sometimes it's just taking a walk by yourself. Or moms, what about a trip to the grocery store without a kid in tow? Isn't that peaceful just a little bit? If that's the only way you can take time for yourself, please do it because you deserve it. And we're heading into a tough season for so many, and I care about you and I want you to be well. Another thing that you can do is just reach out to your friends and family. I know we're not able to be together in physical proximity like we once were, but we are super fortunate that we have these crazy technological devices that allow us to FaceTime or Messenger with people where you can have conversations with those you love on video. You know, if you've got somebody out there that you know is lonely, please reach out to them. Please have that conversation and brighten their day a little bit, you know? We all need it. We all need it. And if it's you that needs that, ask for it. Ask somebody you know that you trust and let them reach out to you. Let them have a conversation with you to make you feel better. And for me, my number one stress killer, the one that I must have, it's like a drug for me. I know that if I start going down the spiral of, all the things put together, they suck and I can't handle them, I need to go outside. That's an immediate thing for me. Like if I don't go outside and spend some time in nature, that is my me time. I walk my dogs. I'm so incredibly blessed that I do live on the Sandy River in the foothills of Mount Hood, and I get to walk out my door on this beautiful trail, and I have a perfect little mile-long loop hike that I get to do, and I know I'm lucky for that. I know that's an incredibly fortunate thing, and most of you out there don't have that. But I'm sure you've got some access to nature somewhere. Even if you're in the middle of the city, just get out there and take a walk. And maybe it's that one tree that is growing in the middle of the cement block that you can just hug, or there's a park nearby and you can spend a little time there. But it has been proven that nature bathing can really do some immense wonders for your stress response and your immune responses in your body. And since, yes, this is the Herbalist Path podcast, I'm going to talk about some herbs with you. I promise. I'm talking about my favorite herbs that I like to use to help manage my stress and that also have some great properties to improve my immune system function. So it's like a double bonus there, right? This category of herbs I want to talk about, they're called adaptogens, and they are absolutely fantastic because they help our bodies to adapt to various types of stressors, whether it's a physical or spiritual or emotional or environmental stressor. It just helps you be able to handle them better. They also help to regulate and support your neuroendocrine system and the immune system, which, as we talked about earlier, are directly intertwined and connected. Adaptogens help to enhance our overall health and well-being in many ways, like they help to protect our energy resources from becoming depleted. Hello, overworked people. They work at the cellular level to help you cope with the effects of chronic and acute stress. And they can even help to increase the production of specific immune cells, like your helper T cells, your B cells, your little punk rock natural killer cells. And most of the adaptogens, they've either got immune amphoteric properties, which means that it just helps to nourish and strengthen your immune system, or they've got immune stimulating properties that help to boost your immune system. So it's like this super, super bonus, and they do so much more than that. But since the topic of this episode is all about stress and immune health and how they are connected, that's what we're talking about. So adaptogens, they can be just really great plant friends to have around. And I'm just going to take a bit to chat about a couple of my favorites. One of them that I love so much is licorice root because it's delicious to me. It's nice and sweet and yummy, and I can feel it like coat and soothe my respiratory tract and mucosal tissue. So it is also specific for respiratory health and also digestive health. So that's going to be really helpful because we also know digestive health has an overall impact on our health and well-being and our immune system. Licorice is an immune amphoteric or a normalizer, and it's also been used for suppression of the immune system, particularly with allergies, asthmatic allergies, or like allergies to animal dander. It's also got some great antiviral properties to it, so it's really doing a lot of things for your body. Um, and the cool thing about licorice is it's what's called a harmonizer. So it's often used in a formulation with other herbs, and it brings those other herbs and their medicinal properties together to make them work as like one happy little medicinal herb family. Extra, extra bonuses there, right? Licorice root isn't for everybody. Definitely not for you if you're suffering from blood pressure issues or you're pregnant or anything like that. Use caution. And when I talk about any herb, know that not just because I'm talking about it doesn't mean it's the herb for you. I'm speaking as to how it may have traditionally been used in another culture or society or based on studies, but that doesn't mean it's the right herb for you. So do work with a trained herbalist or a healthcare practitioner and just use caution and listen to your body. Pay attention. Another herb that I love, though, that's very helpful in both the immune health and the stress reduction factor is holy basil. It's also known as Tulsi. Have you ever heard of it? Have you ever drunk it? It is so delicious, just as a simple tea. The scent and the aroma from holy basil, it just feels so good going down. It's a sacred herb for the Hindu people, and they drink it in the morning with their prayers to ensure personal health, spiritual purity, and family well-being. It's known to nourish a person's growth to perfect health and promotes a long life. It's kind of a mild adaptogenic, but it also acts as an antioxidant, as an antiviral, and a bacteria-fighting herb. It's been shown to improve your memory and reduce overall mental fog if you ever deal with that brain fog stuff. It's even been shown to reduce some asthmatic symptoms or reduction in blood sugar for type 2 diabetics. And again, it's friggin' delicious. It's easy to have a cup of holy basil tea. Totally easy. Another one of my absolute favorites that's maybe not quite as delicious, but I've just known to love it for the relationship that this plant and I have built over the years is ashwagandha. And it has been an imperative herb for me. I've gone through quite a few stressful times in my life, as I imagine you have too, but like being a mother and running multiple businesses and not really knowing anything I'm doing about business, but just doing it anyways and throwing myself into the fire, I guess. I definitely got my cortisol levels a lot higher than they needed to be for quite a while. And I really relied on ashwagandha during that time. I still love ashwagandha, but I'm not quite as reliant on it. And ashwagandha is a unique herb, as most adaptogens can be, because it's something you want to take on the long term. And for me, when I first started building my love for ashwagandha, I didn't really notice it when I took it, right? When I noticed it was when I didn't take it. Because then suddenly, whatever was going on in life to trouble me, I couldn't handle that stress anymore. And I would be overwhelmed and I would just cry. But then I'd take the ashwagandha and it was like, it just hugged me and was like, it's cool, Mel. You got this. Like, you can get through whatever it is you're trying to get through. And so I did. And yeah, ashwagandha has been a super duper powerhouse for me and improving my ability to handle various amounts of stress that I go through or have chosen to put my life through. It's also known and been used to prolong life. It's been used as an aphrodisiac. Hey. And actually in Ayurvedic medicine, they'll use ashwagandha with some ghee and honey for men that have sexual debility or low sperm count. It's also known to increase the libido for the ladies. It's helpful, like I said, for relieving anxiety or stress-induced insomnia. If you're so stressed out you can't sleep. It's great for brain fog and overall fatigue. And it also happens to be rich in iron, so it can be really beneficial in cases of iron deficiency. And it's another immune amphoteric, so it's going to help strengthen and nourish the immune system. I have an incredibly deep love for ashwagandha, as I do holy basil, as I do licorice, but ashwagandha and I are tight. Like, I love this plant so much. Anyways, I do want to iterate again that just because these herbs are for me or for somebody else, it doesn't mean that they are the right herbs for you, that it is important to pay attention to your body and how your body is reacting with these herbs and take the time to get to know the plant and how it works with your body. It's also important to work with a trained herbalist or a naturopathic physician or your medical care provider. I'm no doctor. I'm an herbalist. I do have experience with these plants and an understanding of what's going on with them, but that doesn't mean I know what's going on with you, Buggy Boo. Anyways, those things are really important. So just be mindful and aware that no herb is the instant fix pill herb for everybody, okay? And in the meantime, do your darndest to take care of yourself. Get outside, hug a tree, stare at a dead fallen leaf. Embrace those that you love, even if it means embracing them from a distance. And just take care of yourself so you can take care of each other. Thanks again for tuning in, and stay well, my friends. Bye.
This has been The Herbalist's Path. Thanks for joining us. Have we piqued your herb curiosity? Are you thirsty for more? Well, then check out the show notes of today's episode for exciting educational opportunities, workshops, and courses. If you'd like to support our mission, please subscribe, rate, and review to help others find us. Together, we can make herbalism #spread like wildflowers. Wishing you all a lovely day. Bye for now.
It has been so much fun and so, I don't know, joyous watching all of my medicinal plant friends popping up in my garden, from the elecampane to the comfrey and the arnica. I love seeing these friends pop up. And if you are still trying to decide what to grow in your medicinal herb garden, you've got to grab my guide. It's all about the most essential herbs that every mom should know and should grow. So I teach you how to grow them and the many different ways that you can use them. If you want to grab the guide, go ahead. It's free, and I'm pretty sure you're going to get a lot of delight and use out of it. And there's a link to it in the show notes. I'm wishing you tons of happy medicine planting.